Have you ever watched something so bad, so deeply insulting to a sport you love, that it makes you angry at an existential level? Yeah, well that's what happened in Newport, Rhode Island. Because a hedge fund billionaire just got a main draw doubles wildcard at a professional ATP Challenger tournament. He played like a 3.5 USTA club player and then donated $10 million to smooth it all over. Enter Bill Ackman, and how he somehow made Red Foo from LMFAO look like the most respectable professional tennis player on the planet. So you may be asking, well, who is this guy? Well, Bill Ackman is a billionaire, a hedge fund manager, famous for Pershing Square and shorting Herbalife. Not exactly what you'd call athletic pedigree, but in July of this year, Ackman, at age 59, somehow received a main draw doubles wildcard at the Hall of Fame Open in Newport, a real ATP Challenger tournament, on grass. He didn't earn it, he didn't qualify, he didn't even try to grind the ITF circuit. Nope, he just paid his way in. How? Well, by partnering with four-time Grand Slam doubles champion Jack Sock, who presumably had nothing better to do, or maybe just couldn't say no to the check. So there it was, the most blatant example of billionaire privilege we've ever seen in the sport of tennis. So what actually happened on the court? Well, Ackman and Sock took on Bernard Tomic and Omar Yasaka, two Aussie players with real ATP and Challenger experience, and the moment this match began, the energy was off. Tomic and Yasika clearly knew what was going on, and this wasn't a competition. It looked like a paid exhibition, disguised as a professional match. They didn't hit full pace, they didn't move, they barely celebrated points. It was a mockery, a full-blown sandbagging session. Ackman? Well, he couldn't really rally, he couldn't serve, and he struggled to volley. It looked like he hadn't played a competitive set in decades. And yet here he was, on a tour-level court, treating the entire match like a Hamptons charity fundraiser. Final score? They lost 1-6, 5-7. The moment the match ended, Twitter or X exploded. Fans, players, commentators, all calling it out for what it was. A disgrace. Andy Roddick noted it as a disaster and the biggest joke he's ever watched in professional tennis.
Bill Ackman, who's been a massive tennis fan supporter, funds the PTPA, does the whole thing, wanted to play a pro tournament. So, there's obviously some exchange of something. Like, you don't give a wild card to someone who 50 players at my club are better than. This was a total miss. This was the biggest joke I've ever watched in professional tennis.
And you know it's bad when Roddick, a guy who usually lets tennis slide, has to say something. Others weren't as kind. We had tweets like he bought his way into the tournament, tennis is for sale now. This is disrespectful to every junior and challenger player grinding their ass off for one wild card. And they're not wrong. This wasn't some cute billionaire bucket list dream, although that's how he portrayed it. This was an ATP sanctioned nepotism, a literal main draw wildcard stolen from a real player and handed to a rich guy with a 10-figure net worth and a 2-figure UTR. Hey, quick break. If you love tennis but hate seeing billionaires turn it into a vanity playground, hit that subscribe button. We've got way more hot takes on the way and you won't want to miss them. Now, back to the meltdown. So you may be wondering, well, how did Ackman respond to all this backlash? With humility? Maybe an apology? Maybe some self-awareness? Well, not really. He did what billionaires always do when they mess up. He decided to throw money as a solution. Ackman announced a $10 million endowment to the Tennis Hall of Fame, and the funniest part is they didn't even accept it. They rejected his donation. And why? Well, probably because they faced so much slack for even giving him the wild card in the first place. And rightly so. It's the equivalent of crashing your yacht into a coral reef and then handing the Coast Guard $100 and saying, "Don't worry, I got this." And for perspective, $10 million is what the likes of us find in our couch cushions. The man essentially bought a wild card and tried to erase the backlash with a check. So halfway across the world, another celebrity was quietly chasing the tennis dream the right way. Red Foo. Yes, the LMFAO guy, party rock anthem, sexy and I know it, that guy. The guy that we featured on our Who's the Best Celebrity at Tennis video. 49 years old, massive tennis fan, picked it up later in life, trained with pros. He didn't ask for a wild card. He didn't partner with a doubles legend to throw him on his back and carry him to victory. He didn't call the ATP. He signed up for qualifiers at an M15 in Egypt. For those of you that don't know, that's the bottom of the barrel of pro tennis. No crowd, horrible cameras, no glamour, just Red Foo grinding. And yes, the outcome was expected. He lost 1-1. But he fought, he ran, he respected the game, and he didn't do it for PR points. He did it because he loves tennis. And the main difference between Red Foo and Ackman? It's simple. Love for the game. Red Foo and Ackman are both celebrities in their own way. Both are rich. Both are older, but one of them put his ego aside and earned his spot. The other wrote a check for it. One respected the journey. The other thought the rules didn't apply to him. And that's why this story matters, because pro tennis is already brutal enough for young players trying to make a living. The Challenger Tour is underfunded, futures are a grind, wildcards are everything. So when the ATP gives one of those precious wildcards to a hedge fund manager with no business being there, it tells every hard-working player grinding through 125-degree heat and $12 of prize money that your dream is for sale. So here's the thing. It wasn't just a bad match. It was a bad look optically for the entire sport. A billionaire playing tourist, a real pro carrying him like it was a charity gala, two opponents not even trying out of fear of embarrassing the clown show. It felt like watching someone cosplay as a tennis player, and then trying to retroactively legitimize it with a donation. We get it. You love tennis. Great. At your $100,000 a month country clubs or at the tennis court in your backyard while your butlers serve you and your friends drinks. But loving something doesn't mean you're entitled to ruin it for everyone else, let alone take a spot from someone who's been working their whole life to get there. So shout out to Red Foo, the guy who actually did it the right way. No shortcuts, no wild cards, just a racket, a dream, a plane ride, and a whole lot of Red Foo energy. And to the ATP, please, we're begging you, stop giving wild cards to people who treat this sport like a sandbox for their midlife crisis. Because the rest of us, we're not LMFAO. We're just laughing through the pain. Subscribe for more unfiltered tennis take. Hot Take Tennis out.